Hello guys, welcome back to Coding Cafe. My name is Mohammed Ali, and in this video we will work on the phone verification, or you can say the phone authentication, so that a user can log in into our this chat app which we are developing using their phone number. Okay, so first a user has to verify his phone number and the whole process. Okay, so let's start this. So first of all, let's create a new activity, new, and then activity, empty activity, and we can call this as phone login activity. Click finish. So you can see that our phone login activity is created successfully. Now the next thing is to go to the activity phone login.xml file. First of all, click on this text and make sure to change this constant layout to the relative layout. So we can change this to relative layout, and then now here we need to create our first edit text which will get the phone number, which allows the user to enter the phone number first. Okay, so we can the width should be match parent and height wrap content, and first of all let's give it ID. The ID will be 4_number _ input, phone number input. Layout width, it should be align parent start and it should be true. Margin start and margin start will be 17 dp, and the margin end should also be 17 dp. Here you can see that. Okay, let me zoom it. Margin from the top should be 200 dp, or instead of that we can give it 180 will be good. Okay, so 180 dp. Let's make it some beautiful design to it. So as you know that we have our inputs designed for all the edit text, and the padding for this will be 8 dp. Let's give it some hint. So we can say write phone number here. Text all caps should be false. Text size 15 sp. Let's add an icon to this, so it will be drawable start, and the icon is in the drawable folder by the name phone. Okay, you can see this. And now let's the text alignment will be at the center. Text style should be bold. Okay, so yeah, that's it for the phone number. And now we need another edit text for the verification code. So whenever a user provide a phone number, and then the user will click on the button, so once the user click on that button, then a the verification code will be sent to that user. Okay, and then basically you will have then another button to verify. Let me complete it, then you will understand everything easily. Okay, so we can call this as make sure to give it another ID, for verification _ code input. Okay, let me tell you that I just copy paste this edit text down here below. Okay, and now let's change the hint for it, so it will be write verification code here. Okay, and here you can see first of all let's add here below. Okay, you can simply write below, and you can see this layout below ID, and copy the ID of this phone number input and paste that here, so that it can move down below here. Okay, and now the next thing is to change this margin top to 4 dp, and also change the icon of it to, you can remove this phone icon from here, and we have an icon inside the drawable folder for the password, which will be for the code here. Okay, so you can see that, and make sure to change the padding to 5 dp. And yeah, that's it. So this is our phone number, this is the verification code which a user will receive on his mobile phone. Okay, so then he will enter the verification code here. So now we need two buttons. Okay, First of all, let me tell you that this will be invisible to the user, okay, at the start. First the user has to provide the phone number, and then now we will have a button. Then this added text will be visible once the user enter his phone number and click on that button. So let me complete it, and then at the end of this video you will understand everything. So now the next thing is to add a button here. So for that, what I will do, I will simply write here button, match parent, wrap content, and here all we're gonna need is to provide ID to it first. So the ID will be send underscore verification code button. Let's give it some text, so it will be send verification code. Oh, sorry, cut this and first write text, Android text, and now here inside we can pass that, okay, send verification code. So you can see that here, and now we can say text all caps. Sorry for that, it should be false. Now all we're gonna need is to copy this start and stop, okay, copy this and paste that here. Now let's design this. So you can add a background to it, and the background for it will be the buttons, okay, which we created in the previous tutorial. I hope you remember that, okay. If I show you, then it is inside our drawable, okay, the inputs and the buttons .xml file, I mean the design which we created earlier. So now the next thing is to change the text color first. And the Android color, and it is by this background light, okay, background light color. And come here and copy this Android text size, okay, copy this and pass that down here, and change the text size to 90. And also copy this text alignment and this text style, and you can pass that down here. So now the design looks more beautiful, okay, you can see that. So now we have to move this button down below. So here you can simply write below ID and copy the ID of verification code input, and it should be below that, okay. So you can pass that and you can see this. So yeah, it is amazing. Now let's copy this button code, okay. We need another button here which will be for the verify account. So then a user will be logged in once he verify his phone number. So now the next thing is that is we can change this to verify underscore, or instead of that we can call it as verify button, okay, just that. And we should need to move it below this send verify code button. So copy this and pass that ID here, and now change this send verification code button to verify, okay. And yeah, the next thing is margin top should be 3 sp, or instead of that we can make it 1, okay, 1 dp, okay. So yeah, now the next thing is also here, come here, and for this button it should be 1 dp. Now what we're gonna do, all we're gonna need is to initialize these fields on our phone login activity.java file. But before we do that, here you can see that this is our verify code here, okay. So at the start it's the visibility for this will be invisible, okay, you can see this, because once the user provide the phone number, then when he click on the send verification code button, then the code will be sent to his mobile phone, and then this field will be visible, okay. Then he will enter the verification code here, and then he will click on this verify button. So also make this verify button invisible. So here we can say visibility, and it should be invisible also, okay. So only these two fields will be visible at the start. So yeah, now let's go to the phone login activity, and here we can say private. First we have two buttons, and the first one is the send verification button, send verification code. The second one is the verify button, and now we have to edit text, so we can say private edit text. And the first one is the input phone number, so we can call this phone number, input phone number. And the second one is the input verification code. Okay, so yeah, that's it. And now the next thing is to initialize these fields here in our onCreate method. So here we can say send verification button equals to button find all dot id. The id for this is send barcode button. Okay, and then we can simply copy paste this for the verify button. First of all, make sure to change the id to verify button, and this is the verify button. And now the next thing is for the edit text, so change this to edit text. It is by the name input phone number. Make sure to change this to input phone number input. Okay, and then let's copy paste this for the input verification code. Okay, so change this and you can say input verification code and change this to verification code input. Now the next thing is to set a click listener on our send verification code button. Okay, then we will, let's write this first. So we can say send verification code button dot set on click listener new on click listener. So once the user click on send verification code button, then what we're gonna do, we can make this send verification button first invisible. So we can say send verification button dot, you can simply write visibility vis dot set visibility, which is this one, visibility, and it should be invisible now. And the second one is the input phone number field, so we can say input phone number field dot set visibility to invisible. So now once the user click on the send verification code button, then we will invisible both these fields now, and we will visible the other two fields, which is the verification code and verify button. So what we're gonna do for that, here we can simply say verify button dot set visibility, and it should be visible, and the input verification code, it should also be visible now. So yeah, that's it. Now here we need to go to the login activity, which is our this activity. So when a user click on this phone button, then we will send the user to phone login activity. So go to the login activity first, and here we have this phone login button. So we have to set a click listener on that. So here we can say phone login button dot set on click listener new on click listener. So once the user click on that, what we're gonna do, we can simply create an intent to send the user to that to this phone login activity. So we can call this as login intent, or instead of that we can say phone login intent equals to new intent, and we are on the login activity, so we can say login activity dot this, and we want to send the user to the phone login activity dot class. Make sure to put a semicolon and then start the activity for the phone login intent. So yeah, now let's run the app. So you can see that our app is running now successfully, and now if I click on this phone button, then here you can see that we have these two fields. First, the user will enter his phone number here, okay, just like that, and then this he will click on this send verification code button. So when a user click on that, then he will now enter the verification code that we will send to his mobile phone. Okay, and then he will click on this verify button. So in this video we just design the phone login activity. In the next video tutorial we will implement the Firebase phone authentication, and we will send the verification code to the user mobile phone after he enter his mobile phone number here. And once he verify his phone number, I mean when he enter the phone the verification code, then he will be able to use this Android chat app which we are developing. So yeah, that's it for this video, and if anyone is new to our channel, then please subscribe our channel Coding Cafe. Thumbs up for this video, and see you guys in the next video. Bye for now.